Okay, I want you to listen to this story very carefully and answer one question at the end. ठीक है? तो कहानी एकदम सिंपल है. Just like many of you, there was a 19-year-old boy living in a tier 3 city who gave all his efforts preparing for JEE in his drop year. And as a result, he scored decent enough to get a good seat in any of the reputed NIT and IIIT. And so, following the process, he set for JOSA counseling. By the time the counseling was going on, he appeared for other competitive exams and entrance exams for different colleges, including BITS, UGEE, MHT, CET, etc., etc. And with all this, he also applied for an entrance exam of a new gen college called Scalar School of Technology, just for the sake of curiosity. Now, it was July 2023, and like many of you, the boy was confused which college to choose. Okay, so the main option he had were dual degree at BITS Pilani, a guaranteed CS and AI seat in a reputed IIIT, a computer science seat with good amount of scholarship at a very reputed private college or almost all of the private colleges, and also a seat at a new gen college, literally the one which was starting that same year. मतलब no record of placement, no record of culture और उसके ऊपर से he wasn't even getting a BTech degree, he was getting a BSc degree from that college. And I don't think I need to mention the high fees of that new gen college. Okay, clear with the options? Now here's the question for you. What would you have done? And what should the boy do? Now, I know what you're thinking, and you're right, that this is a no-brainer question. Matlab, you should definitely go with the CS and AI at the IIIT. And if not that, then the second option should be the dual degree at BITS Pilani. And let's say if not even that, then at least take scholarship and go to any reputed established private college. और रही बात न्यू जेन कॉलेज की, तो how is this even in the picture? सही है, उस लड़के ने भी जिससे पूछा, everyone gave the similar kind of advice. But you know what the boy did? Exactly opposite. He chose a new gen college, Scalar School of Technology. But why? Like, what did he saw that none of his relatives, none of his advisors saw? और जब वो ये कर रहा था, उसने अपने पेरेंट्स को कन्विंस कैसे किया? एक BSc डिग्री, एक हाई फीस, एक न्यू जेन कॉलेज, नो प्लेसमेंट, नो कल्चर, नथिंग. कैसे? How was he able to take and convince such an amount of risk with his career? Like, this was an exact line one of his relative quoted after he took admission into that college. But most importantly, what is the boy doing right now? Like, is he happy or do he regret his decision? Well, actually, let's hear that directly from that student, because he was none other than Suryansh Dubey. Okay, तो शुरू से शुरू करते हैं. Because choosing SST or not still remains the second most important question. The very first question should be, why computer science or why tech? अब यार मेरी फैमिली में कोई इंजीनियर नहीं था, तो जितना भी एक्सपोजर मुझे कंप्यूटर साइंस का मिला, दैट वाज फ्रॉम स्कूल, फ्रॉम यूट्यूब, वाचिंग MKBHD, वाचिंग Veritasium, वाचिंग फन वीडियोस ऑफ टेक बर्नर, मिस्टर हुज द बॉस, एंड आई फेल्ट इन लव विद टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इट्स एप्लीकेशन. बट पता है, थिंग्स चेंज्ड व्हेन आई हर्ड ऑफ दोस टू वर्ड्स, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. और तब I decided कि this is something which I wanted to explore in next 4 years. मतलब actually building stuff that can create impact. And that was a time when I started looking into the syllabus, the actual syllabus which was taught in colleges. I started speaking to my friends at IIITs, at different respective colleges about the ground reality, what is being taught. I started listening to interviews, podcasts of people who actually built startups, people who actually cracked MNCs. But the more and more I was looking into this, the more shocked, the more reality check, the more actual path I got to know. मतलब I'll explain what I actually got to know. But उससे पहले let me explain a मोटा roadmap of building something impactful in tech or cracking MNCs or building your own startup. So step 1 is building great fundamental. Basically foundation of programming languages, foundation of development, and foundation of machine learning, where you dive into data structures and algorithm, you dive into full stack development, you dive into advanced machine learning, topics like reinforcement learning, etc. And then to practice and have a proof of skill to show, you build and share great projects and do internships. And finally, with all your knowledge, all your hard work, you appear for interviews and eventually crack MNCs or start your own thing. And by which we eventually meant building stuff. Clear? Now let me explain the problems I got to know in the current system, in the current curriculum. सबसे पहले the problem is in building fundamentals. As much as I spoke to my friends at various colleges, दो चीजें निकल के आई. पहली बात, फर्स्ट ईयर में irrespective of which branch you are in, आपको सारे subjects पढ़ने पड़ते हैं, which also include some completely irrelevant and non-technical subjects for a computer science student. मतलब कॉलेज की तरफ से ये कहना है कि let's say if the student is still confused with what branch to be chosen, then he would get exposure of everything and then he might be clear. But what if I'm already clear with what I have to do? और रही बात technical subject की, तो there is even problem with the technical subjects taught in the first year. So one of my friend at an IIT told the language which is taught in the first year is usually C language, which is outdated in itself. मतलब it's good for understanding the fundamentals of language, but भाई वो कहीं use नहीं होती. Like it would have been better if the fundamentals of language were taught in a language like C++ or Java, which are actually used. And the problem doesn't just stick to the first year. The problem is with the curriculum, because the overall curriculum still has many non-technical subjects which are so irrelevant but still compulsory to take, which eventually ends up wasting time of student. And at the same time, the college exam. Like these colleges still have those pen paper tests. अब दिक्कत पेन पेपर होने में नहीं है, दिक्कत है पेन पेपर टेस्ट ऑफ अ practical subject like DSA. And when they are asked, then their argument is कि इससे problem solving better होती है. Like I would respectfully argue that it would have been better to teach this problem solving approach and test this problem solving approach on a competitive programming platform like LeetCode, CodeChef, or maybe have your own dashboard. क्योंकि असल में students यही करते हैं, सिर्फ एग्जाम टाइम पर उनको पेन पेपर पे कोडिंग करनी पड़ती है. Like pen paper is good for building logics, building solution, but उसमें ही अगर आप एग्जाम लोगे, then it's fucking irrelevant. That's what I think, at least, because doing it on actual platforms, doing it on your keyboard will give you better hands-on experience and better test and pressure environment testing of your programming skills. अब हो सकता है कि labs में ये भी होता हो, but I think this should be the main exam thing. And lastly, there remains one more problem, which is of independence. So one of my friend in a very reputed college in Delhi told me कि भाई हमारे कॉलेज में 4th year तक on-site internship नहीं करने देते. I was like, what? मतलब internships are by far the best way to get exposure, to get experience, to actually learn the stuff. But the colleges tie and hold their students until the very 4th year of replacement का time आता है, and they expect you कि you should have experience. अब इस बीच स्टूडेंट्स रिमोट इंटर्नशिप तो कर लेते हैं, बट आई कैन से कि भाई ऑन साइट इंटर्नशिप में जो लर्निंग मिलती है, दैट्स वे मोर देन डूइंग इट रिमोट. यू एक्चुअली लर्न द कल्चर. तो दिस इज अ मेजर फ्लॉ. और कॉलेज में रोक के आपका टाइम जाता है असाइनमेंट्स में, आपका जाता है फालतू क्लासेस में और फालतू एग्जाम्स में, जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ दैट डिग्री. सॉरी इफ आई एम बीइंग अ लिटिल हाई टेम्पर, बट भाई दिस फील्स so irrelevant. But now you might ask if there are so many issues, how the fuck are these students from these colleges are able to get packages worth crores? So now here's again what I got to know when I spoke to people who actually did this. तो ऐसा होता है कि they went on internet, got exposure about what exists, what all directions are possible, and kind of career roadmap. Then eventually they lands up in a circle of like-minded people. Then they study through courses, videos, and also if there's any relevant class in their college. And then most importantly, they practice through contests on platforms like, again, LeetCode, CodeChef. They build projects, and most importantly, majority of them learns through internships, and generally remote, because some of the colleges do not allow for, as I told, on-site internships. So Suryansh, are you trying to say कि these colleges who are printing billboards कि भाई हमारे बच्चे का crores में पैकेज लग गया, are these irrelevant? Nah, they are relevant, but their relevance remains actually in acting as a stage by calling good companies and giving you the chance to sit for interviews. And also for majority of good colleges, the strength actually lies in the talent pool of students they have. क्योंकि भाई बच्चा अगर अच्छा है तो कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लेगा. But again, as I said, it has to be 80% of your efforts, which will eventually make you successful. Now, पिछले साल तो IIT से भी around 35 to 40% students remain unplaced. And let me take a second to praise the market research of Scalar. अब ये एकदम से यहाँ इसलिए आया because they actually targeted this 80% efforts वाला market, and that's what attracted me towards Scalar School of Technology. तो हुआ ये कि one fine day when I was researching for colleges, of course keeping these issues of traditional colleges in mind, I actually saw a college pitching themselves to solve this 80% वाला issue. But how? How were they solving the problem which the top institutes couldn't solve? And here's how exactly being non-traditional helped SST. Instead of following the curriculum and strict guidelines of the system and becoming another college of the thousands already existing, they decided to teach what's relevant from day one. दूसरी problem क्या थी? Right exposure and guidance. दिला दिया. Instead of having professors who never actually worked at real companies, they got instructors from the top MNCs like Google, Meta, people who have worked in some of the fastest growing unicorn to teach students what actually works in the real world. And for mentorship, they got a system of path success managers, super mentors, from which you can get guidance even in the hostel room anytime online, and you can directly connect and ask your questions to CEOs and CTOs of some of the biggest companies like PhonePe, like Flipkart. And for practicing and building proof of skills, damn, they completely changed how exams used to happen in colleges. At SST, they have their own dashboard which has practice questions for exams and practice, and it has questions from some of the best competitive programs and some of the previous questions asked in the coding round of various MNCs. And as assignments and class projects, they ask students to build real world projects like the complete system of Make My Trip. And even for more exposure, they have a place called Innovation Lab in which you have Metaculus, Apple Vision Pro, Unitary, RoboDog, drones, just to satisfy the techie inside you. And finally, for the 20% wala part, they have 900 plus placement partners. So this was exactly the pitch which Scalar gave during our times of admission. और इसे सुन के जैसे आपको लग रहा है, I also felt like भाई मेरी तो सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गई. I was looking for exactly this college which can solve this 80% वाला issue, and it was pitching themselves to solve this. पर पता है SST का नॉन ट्रेडिशनल होना उनके लिए डिसएडवांटेजेस भी हो गया, क्योंकि भाई इतनी सारी कमिटमेंट्स कर तो दी, बट हाउ कैन आई ट्रस्ट यू कि यू विल फुलफिल दिस कमिटमेंट. इसी साल कॉलेज शुरू हो रहा है, डिग्री भी BSc की दे रहे हो और फीस मांग रहे हो 19 लाख. एंड What if you didn't deliver what you committed? और क्या भरोसा अगले 4 साल में ही अगर आपका काम नहीं चला और पूरा कॉलेज ही बंद पड़ गया तो? ये सेम सवाल मेरे पेरेंट्स ने भी पूछे when I was discussing about SST with them. तो इसके लिए we sat down and had a look of everything we had on table. तो बिट्स की डुअल डिग्री का ऑप्शन था, बट फीस काफी ज्यादा थी. एंड एट द सेम टाइम CS का भी ऑप्शन नहीं था, मतलब गोइंग इनटू बिट्स, गिविंग सच अ हाई फीस एंड टेक विद अ बिलीफ कि भाई फर्स्ट सेकंड ईयर में अच्छे से पढ़ के ब्रांच अपग्रेड कर लूंगा, was a little too riskier move. रही बात ट्रिपल IIT की सीट, well actually it was good, but फिर उसके लिए I had to fight with that 80% वाला इशू. और फिर रही बात स्केलर की, तो भाई उसके साथ तो भाई थोड़े ट्रस्ट इश्यूज होने लगे थे. So we thought कि what if we could solve this trust issue, then Scalar might become the best option for me, at least the best which I wanted. तो इसके लिए ना मैंने अपने एक रिलेटिव से बात की who was a software engineer in Bangalore, and he told कि Scalar is a well established company और उस टाइम पर it was worth around 3,000 to 5,000 crore, and although its courses are expensive but they were really high quality, and even he had done some of the courses from Scalar. Acha, in case you do not know, then Scalar and Scalar School of Technology are two separate things. Scalar is the parent company which teaches working professionals through online courses of programming and upskilling, and Scalar School of Technology is a complete 4-year undergraduate program, वो कॉलेज जिसके बारे में हम अभी बात कर रहे हैं. तो अब इतना श्योर था कि हाँ, अगर 3-5 हजार करोड़ की कंपनी है तो भाई अगले 4 साल में बंद तो नहीं हो रहा है कॉलेज. बट अभी भी दो दिक्कत थी. One was fees and second one was कि what if the culture and teaching is not the way which they are pitching. So I don't know how, but coincidentally based on my JEE percentile, I got 25% scholarship and also Scalar offered a 30-day money back guarantee कि 30 दिनों के लिए आओ, try studying and if you feel good then continue, else no amount will be charged. अब क्योंकि जोसा से सीट ऑलरेडी थी तो I decided कि चलो ट्राई करके देखते हैं और बस फिर here we are. But भाई I guess we are missing something. What about the degree? और 3 साल बाद, like, are you happy or do you regret your decision? Honestly, I'll talk about the degree in very detail in one of my upcoming videos. But in short, with all my experience in Bangalore and multiple companies, degree does matter, but only as a matter of qualification factor. मतलब कि जॉब के लिए यू शुड हैव अ कंप्यूटर साइंस डिग्री, बैचलर्स इन कंप्यूटर साइंस. अब फर्क नहीं पड़ता तुम्हारी बीएससी है या बीटेक है, एंड दिस जस्ट मेक्स यू क्वालिफाई फॉर द जॉब. पर सिलेक्शन पता है किससे होती है? सिलेक्शन हैपेंस विथ योर एक्सपीरियंस एंड दिस इज इन प्रायोरिटी ऑर्डर. विथ योर एक्सपीरियंस विच कम्स जनरली फ्रॉम द इंटर्नशिप्स यू डू, देन योर प्रोजेक्ट्स, देन योर स्किल्स और लास्ट में कहीं जाके डिग्री. इनफैक्ट भाई मुझसे तो आज तक किसी ने कभी किसी इंटरव्यू में डिग्री नहीं पूछी, बिकॉज मेजरली लोग हायर होते हैं उनकी स्किल की वजह से. एज व्हेन आई स्पोक टू वन ऑफ द एचआर ऑफ अ वेरी बिग कंपनी, ही टोल्ड कि इफ यू ऑलरेडी डिड द वर्क दैट आई एम लुकिंग फॉर, यू आर हायर्ड. तो अगर डिग्री की दिक्कत ज़्यादा नहीं आई तो कैसे रहे मेरे 3 साल? क्या स्केलर हेक्टिक था? क्या स्केलर ने वो सब पढ़ाया जो उन्होंने बोला था? क्या वो उतना प्रोडक्टिव करिकुलम रहा भी कि नहीं? यार बात ये है ना कि ये अपने आप में एक कहानी है जो कि मुझे बड़े शौक से सुनानी है और समय लेके सुनानी है. तो बस थोड़ा सा वेट करो, पूरी मूवी दिखाऊंगा. बट ऑल इन ऑल आई वुड से कि नो, आई डू नॉट रिग्रेट माई डिसीजन. In fact, this is by far one of the best decisions of my life. So, should you go for it? Well, actually, if you are interested in tech, मतलब you always thought कि you want to build something relevant, something impactful. और सबसे ज़रूरी चीज़ यहाँ ये है ना कि भाई काफ़ी ज़्यादा काम होता है. अब जिसको वो काम नहीं लगता उसको मज़ा आता है. But eventually you have to work hard, put in your all efforts to stay kinda relevant in this college, to take the most out of this college. क्योंकि हाँ, फीस तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा है and it's only worth it if you do this. And the ROI of this fees depends on you कि तुम इसमें से कितना निचोड़ पाते हो. तो for sure, if you are interested in tech, you can work hard and there are no financial issues, then you can go for it. In fact, मैंने अपने छोटे भाई को भी यही एडवाइस दी थी. एंड आई वुड हाईली सजेस्ट कि यार अगर इस कॉलेज में इंटरेस्ट आ रहा है और तुम्हारे पास बाकी ऑप्शंस भी हैं तो एक बार एटलीस्ट एंट्रेंस एग्जाम दे के देखो, ताकि तुम्हारे पास ये एज अ बैकअप तो रहे. और रही बात एंट्रेंस एग्जाम जिसका नाम है NSET, उसकी प्रिपरेशन की, तो भाई दिस टाइम आई हैव रियली पुट ऑल माई एफर्ट्स टू बिल्ड अ काइंड ऑफ प्लेटफॉर्म और समथिंग which is by far the best and the only thing you need to prepare for NSET. और ये फ्री है, इसमें कोई पैसे वैसे नहीं ले रहे हैं. It's completely free. You can get the complete guidance about Scalar, all your doubts resolved, all the resources of NSET and every information about Scalar. And also you get a medium to talk to me through that platform or website. Everything is in the description and in the pinned comment. Also, if you want to register for NSET, then the link is in description and pinned comment. But एक मिनट, Scalar or any college cannot be a foolproof solution. It's your race, your dreams. You have to run for yourself. The college, the peers, the city, the mentors, they can just help you run better. And I guess that's what increases your chances of winning.